Welcome to the BRR for week 3 results. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Brightside. How are you doing today, Brightside?
I'm doing fantastic, my man. Thanks for asking.
Does it feel good to be 1 in 5?
No, it does not, sir. Thank you for asking.
Moving on, we're gonna dive right into the last week's results, and the first series up today is gonna be Subject versus MathMatronaru, which was a 1-1. How do you feel about this series?
So, a lot of the games from Subject's team are like 50-50, I think, on whether their mid player has a good game or not. And
Yeah,
if
that
he
guy's
does have
pretty weird.
it hold on, I'm fucking having serious issues. There it is. Finding the Dota buff. So pretty much, if this team has a good performance from Saywall, right? Sowell, however the fuck you say it,
I
then
say
they're
it's
probably
Saul.
Soul, like from Oceans.
No, like Saw and then like all.
Soul, all right, whatever.
I don't know.
If he has a good game, then this team has a really, really good chance of winning a lot of their games. But if he has a bad game, if when he has a bad game, he has a bad game.
What patch are we in where they're picking Timbersaw mid?
Well,
Is that a thing? It's against Storm Spirit, so it's not, I don't think, too favorable a matchup.
I'm not actually certain why they picked it. Normally, I mean, like,
It's good against Centaur.
it's good against actually all three of the heroes from like their first 3 picks. And actually, Storm Spirit's the only hero that can like reliably kill the Timber, I guess. But the problem is that like Earthshaker is like, yeah, a strength hero, but they have like 4 stuns between those first three stuns between the first 3 picks. And just like it's very hard to play Dota against that many stuns, regardless of how tanky you are.
Playing Timber into Earthshaker period is like my nightmare on that hero, because he can chain lock you with W.
Yeah.
Like you're not
No,
getting
it's
out of there if
awful.
he's smart. Um, I don't know. I feel like the Stark Willow probably shouldn't have died this much against that team, but it's probably fine.
I mean, the real issue here is that Subject went 6 and 14 on Axe. Like, we're ignoring that issue for
Oh,
whatever
subject to the
reason.
moon runes? Okay. All right.
Yeah, Subject's the immortal player.
Yeah.
Because like he's like the anchor for this team. If he has a bad game, then I don't really know if it matters how the other lanes do. And it doesn't help that they picked AM.
Ah, that hero's coming back. There's a Dotabuff article on him, man.
Oh yeah, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming back. Ha, that's a good joke.
Nugget was hearing about that, and he asked DNM, and DM's like, situational at best still. It's like,
I
yeah.
think he's only good against Storm. And look at the Storm got a 29-minute Lincoln, so it didn't even matter. The Storm had such a good game that the AM actually wasn't able to kill the Storm probably a single time. Because there's actually such a good Lincoln's game too. Like,
Yeah.
they don't have anything super reliable to pop it, like Zeus Q or anything.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, we're gonna move on to game 2, where we see Saul will play Invoker and go 14 and 6.
Apparently, this dude can play Invoker. Holy shit!
Naga support. No, that is not a support. That is Naga core. I'm
No, this
sorry.
is a Naga core.
I forgot which game that was in that I saw. I was like, what? Suezo. Not a healthy performance on this PL. Also, not my recommended item build. Diffusal into Hood into Shadowblade into Heart.
Yikes.
You're not killing anyone.
That's the build you go when you just need to like get around in fights and like avoid getting caught. Like a lot of times PLs can just kind of thrive on getting like Diffusal Yasha, but if like the enemy team has like super hard lockdown, like they have like Naganet, they have Disruptor ulti, and then they have like all of Storms or all of Invoker stuff. Like he just like can't move around in fights with his hero showing. So like you have to go like a mobility item, and that's like pretty much always Shadow Blade. The real thing is that this fucking core Naga was 8-0. Like I actually don't like he drew the lane, but they didn't kill him a single time. He drew the lane against Bloodseeker Treant. Like I don't know how they wouldn't come even in this lane.
I'd like to point out that if you take the net worth of the teams, the difference in the net worth between the two teams is almost exactly what Naga's net worth is.
That's actually amazing.
700 last hits, less than a 50-minute game. Yeah, you're probably gonna win that game, I think. It's an impressive throw if you don't.
This just looks like one of those games where they like none of the lanes actually like won, but it looks like Subject's team just out executed them.
Oh, holy shit. Dotabuff does have every single lane on here as a draw.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that like never happens. And so like when that does happen, it's all about execution, and it just looks like that like the Naga just like split them up too much for them to be able to do anything. And then Subject was able to just like pick them apart. The Disruptor plus Ursa just like pick off potential just fucking slaughtered them when they were split.
I think a really good combo is just the Ursa with the Elder Titan, because like Ursa already is gonna jump in, he's gonna kill somebody, and then he's gonna tank a lot of spells with ult, and then you can just defensively stomp around him and get him almost a get out of jail free card against this team here, because it's what PL Bloodseeker. PL's either gonna force Doppel out or he has to back off.
Also, the issue here is that this is like they picked really well around Subject picked really well around the first pick Wyvern this game. None of the heroes really like kill like anybody unless like I guess if you get the Disruptor with 4 heroes, he'll die just innately. But like there's nobody like that gets Wyvern ultied or just like dies solo to most heroes. They have a lot of just like catch and lockdown and then damage on top of it. It was just a well-rounded draft, I think, from Subject. Now, granted, if the core Naga had not gone ham, we would be flaming it. So let's just keep that in mind.
And with that, we're gonna move on to our second series of the day, which is gonna be Snow versus Aegon, which is it's a fucking treat. Okay, I don't know what to say about this. Game 2, I have a lot to say about, but
I mean,
game 1,
what the fuck happens in
Rice
this
Boy
game?
ate rice.
I mean, they picked the classic PL counter, like Ember into PL, and then he just fucking who is he playing? Aegon just got fucking worked. Holy fuck!
That's a Divine 2 Rice Boy defeating the immortal Aegon.
So, I mean, I said last week that I think Rice Boy plays way above his metal.
Yeah, I think he's like I equate like him and Logical together, where they're kind of low ranked compared to, well, they're lower ranks than most other mids that are regarded at their skill level.
Yeah.
Piss Salesman. Not impressed here. Looks like he did okay, but not impressed with this scoreline.
I'm guessing that he honestly I'm surprised it doesn't show him as roaming, because my bet is that he just like rotated between bottom and middle and just threw fissures and just allowed didn't give this Tinker space.
Yeah. This first pick Wraith King for Turf, by the way, did not work out. I tried to see if he had an impact like outside of just dying. Not really. Like, it was bad. They lost lane so hard.
He has a bad, like, that lane is fucking, like, it doesn't matter who he's laning against actually, but like he got counterpicked, like the Veno's a counterpick and the Clinks is a counterpick. And generally when you first phase Wraith King, you have to ban Clinks. Like, that matchup hasn't changed.
Hey man, they banned Huskar, man. They're worried they're playing against my team.
Banned Huskar, what the
They were scared of the Huskar, like they weren't even scared of it being last pick. They banned it second phase. They did
I don't
not.
even know, man. That's such a weird ban. But I mean, I like sort of makes sense because Undying and Veno actually get dumpstered by that hero.
Yeah.
But like, if you're planning a Clinks pick, I don't know why you ban it. That's all I'll say on that. I think when this like Rice Boy team is like, if Rice Boy has a good game, they have a really good shot at winning the game. But then when Snow, who's probably like just like I would classify him as like a sacrificial core in a lot of cases, and he had a super big impact on this game, which means that the enemy team's probably losing.
And with that, we're moving on to game two, which is significantly less impressive from Snow's team. This team might have the worst Drow team fights I have seen. They had such bad team fights. There was so many fights where there was such a large gold swing. They have the longest amount of footage on the screen. They have like 9 minutes. Because typically what I'll do is I'll just look for like fights where either they draw even later in the game or where there's a huge swing. There were like 7 fights where over 2k gold was exchanged. It was awful. Almost none of them in Snow's favor, by the way.
Oh god.
It it blew my mind.
It's funny because they actually were like winning the game for a decent chunk of this game. It looked like they were just out farming, and then they would try to push. It looks like they just tried to push an objective and got wiped. Like was this like 3 times in a row or something?
I think it took them like two and a half pushes to take the top tier 2. Like one they bailed out on.
Yeah, I don't know how you actually lose team fights with Treant Phoenix, by the way. like legitimately speaking, that is like the most broken
to be fair,
combo.
What do you do to Storm once he gets the items and jumps you? Like,
I mean, what? All right, let me look at the Storm's itemization in this game.
You have nothing to stop him from just zip zapping.
So the Storm got.
He went Kaya BKB. Or BKB.
He got all right. So right around 30 minutes is where I think this game is over for Dire. But like before that, they actually have Drow is probably one of the most underrated heroes against those two heroes just because of how long the silence is, and it's fairly reliable. So the problem is that I guess Snow just had trouble landing the fairly easy to land silence or something. I guess.
I think this is the
case.
He
died 11 times on Drow, which is no bueno.
I think this is one of those times where they just miss their timing because like Storm Morphlay is just obnoxious.
Yeah, I mean they just get absolutely dumpstered late game, and like you see what like 30 minutes I think is where they hit this BKB timing on Storm, right? And then like just like right after that, the net worth just kind of starts to fucking skyrocket in their favor. And I think it looks like Aegon lost mid again to Rice Boy, but this game they figured out like even if they lose mid, they can give him a hero that can come back.
I don't know. But, Aegon is not impressing me in mid still, but Desperado.
Is he a core player? I played Battle Cup with Desperado. Very fun to play with.
Aegon is like a legitimate mid player to my knowledge. Like his most played heroes are all mids, but Desperado, that boy's the lad.
Huh. Yeah, no, I played Battle Cup with like him and Z, a couple other guys. I got to lane with him. That was a fun time. But I don't know. I think if he has a bad game, he has a bad game. I'm not sold on his comeback potential.
Yeah.
It just looks like. All right, I'll end it with. It just looks like I'm not sure if their supports are super comfortable on certain heroes on Snow's team, but they just didn't draft that many stuns, and it showed.
Yeah, the main difference, they swapped out their Legend 4 for their Archon player this game
you
2.
Can tell.
Okay, and with that we're moving on to our third series, which is Wise versus Nuttypizza. Wise, the one of the two teams to be 6-0, and as such,
Oh
he got
boy.
a moving team profile picture for his highlight. And also, funny story about this. I had like 7 pings at work, and I'm like, okay, this clearly needs to be handled. What is this? All the admins were on, none of them were replying, and we just had to figure out something because Nutty's player
Yeah.
disconnected game 2.
No, his player disconnected and there was no reconnect button. Like he literally couldn't reconnect to the server for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah, and then it's like the rules are essentially like if they can't reconnect for any reason, you just play without them. But like that's more meant for hey, your internet's fucked, yo, than Dota has bugged out, you're just screwed. And like shout out to Killer Karate, he's trying to help him like use console commands to force his way back into the game and it's not working. So they had to play without him, but
I
shout
mean,
out to Wise for even waiting that long. I think it was like a 20-minute wait for me to even get there. But yeah.
the so wait, well, let's see game one here.
Game 1, Nutty
So it's,
Pizza went 3-11 on Vino, and I think that's about the tempo of this game.
I mean, the Alchemist had a good game, and then it. So look at the Alchemist item timing here. So he has 11-minute radiance, 14-minute radiance. He pretty much hasn't died at all, and then he just dies like 2 times and the game's over. It's kind of how I see this game. Like, yes, they were falling behind in net worth a lot, but the Alchemist is still like farming.
I want you to think how it's I don't know. Like even if you play around the Alchemist here, what do you do? It takes so long for you to kill anyone. Axe is pretty tanky. Winter Wyvern heal stops most of your damage from out because his stun is physical and his hits are physical. And then like Storm, you have to land the stun on him. So like the only person you're picking off is like Venge.
It looks like this is the first game that Hish has actually had an impact in.
Oh, oh,
He's finally come out of his cage. It looks like
those are fighting words.
he. I mean, okay, looking at like if I'm
He went
thinking
16
back,
and 5 last week, mate.
yeah, but like Wise is doing the majority of the work in a lot of the fights. When I like look at a lot of the fights in like recaps and whatnot, like this, like the teams need to fucking ban this Bloodseeker because this is like probably the most comfort pick that you could give Wise at this point. Because like he's not a core player, he has a fairly limited hero pool. So I would say if you're scouting them, probably a good start to consider banning that hero or at least drafting an answer to it. They don't have anything against Bloodseeker. They have fairly unreliable stuns and just slows.
Like I don't know. I don't like Monkey King into Bloodseeker because it's like okay you ult and then he's gonna throw down Bloodright and you either have to take it or you have to leave your ult. It's
The monkey got dumpstered in lane. He had a 10-minute phase boots. Like,
whoa, hold on. Why does he have? He bought an ogre club and then he just made an Echo Saber
he was probably
without using it.
I I don't know, man. Think that fuck if I know.
What the heck happened? Okay, moving on to game 2, which is a much more interesting game because Nutty was ahead for like the entirety of the first bit, and then they
I
lost like one
mean,
fight, and it completely turned over on them.
that's kind of what happens against Arc Warden. So like, doesn't matter how much map pressure you put on, because Arc Warden's always going to get more pressure out on the map than you can get, especially when you're 4v5. So like playing a split push game is so easy for like Dire team, and so the second that they get any form of like team fight win, they can just take full control of the map. And then you see this like fucking drastic swing that happens here because like this is just them getting map control. Like they get map control, they kill a bunch of heroes, and then the game's over.
Yeah,
So
there's not too much to say here. Also, like they were impressively close to winning this for being a player down for most of the game. This is
I mean,
a 47-minute game. Their player left at like 13 minutes. So
this high on life guy. This is the first game I'd seen him have like a really good game. So that I'm not sure. Did he play what did he play the game before that? He played the monkey. So like, I think if this high on life guy can start to turn in performances like he did on the TB, then this team could be in really good shape. Because I don't think Jay is a good enough mid player to carry this team.
wait, what the fuck? Their ancient Wraith King player went 1-11.
What did he lane against?
He was safe lane. He was support. Wait.
Oh,
It was terribly mid. They did some shenanigans. I forgot.
oh, that's right. This was the game that
It was support Wraith King. They paired him with the Ursa, and they would just stun and then overpower hit.
What happened in this game is that Y's team drafted very specific lanes, and then Nutty's team just dodged them all. Like they just dodged every lane. So like that's what gave them like a pretty good start to this game. But like it was just it's just hard when.
All right.
It's hard to play when you're 2v3 or 4v5.
Moving on to Sheep versus Scrub Spirit.
Oh god.
This is
Oh god.
It's certainly a game.
Which one? So like both of them aren't really ticketed is the thing. Or like one of them is, are you on the one that they forgot their name?
So the game one, to my knowledge, is the one where they had their team on it, and it was called the meme team for some reason.
All right, I got
Zelfer, their captain no-showed. So Zelfer and some other guy I think stood in. Or
apparently.
No, Tayo's their no. He's their free agent replacement. They just played their 5th round, both games.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, if you're trying to scout them, you're gonna have to go through Goat Squad's things because they forgot their team tag on the second game.
Yeah, so they replaced Scrub, and Scrub was playing mid for them, but he's not a mid player. And they replaced him with what looks like an actual mid player, and they actually got like somewhat decent results, despite him being probably 2,000 MMR lower. Which is actually just like the funniest thing to me. Like, I actually don't know why.
Let's see here. Yeah.
Beyond the, I think
Colin went off on Sheep's team. Yeah, the axe.
Yeah, did Colin? I thought he was a support player.
He's been offlane as many seasons as I've played. He was King Reptar, but he's been offlane. I think he played support for this team before this week, but he's normally an offlane player.
All right.
It's pretty weird.
So, Colin can play well. I believe wasn't Colin like their 4th pick?
Pretty sure he was their 3rd round. He's ancient.
Didn't they 3rd round Johan?
They did. Oh.
Yeah. They 3rd picked Johan, so they would get a high MMR 4th pick. And so if Colin can play like he played in this game for Sheep's team, then they have a very good shot at actually making noise. I think the trick for this team is just enabling Sheep. Because like nobody else on this team, as far as I've seen, is like good enough to just like take over a game. Like some teams have like one hero or one person or 2 people that can do it. This team is just Sheep, and like you see in this first game, you go 16-2 on the Clinks hero, on the little skeleton man. But like nobody else.
He just killed Zelfer over and over.
He just killed Zelfer. Poor Zelfer, man. He's trying his best.
My fellow badman got destroyed by this fucking thing. Because like, who else do you kill? You can't kill Wyvern until you get the Orchid up. Well, you can. It depends on if his team rotates. If he's near a tower, you don't kill that guy.
No, it's more just the Clinks can actually shred the Medusa. He gets a 14-minute defusal. So like he had a very good lane, I'll say.
That's a 20-minute Orchid, by the way.
Yeah, he had a 14-minute defusal. I'm more worried about the defusal because you're playing against Medusa, and like Dusa actually can't do anything to Clinks. Like Clinks goes on it, and there's so much mana drain coming out from the strafe. It's just like the Dusa is just dead. That's like the biggest takeaway that I have. Besides the fact that this team, I don't know what team Arctan team.
Scrub Spirit.
I know it's Scrub, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So Arctan team ran a drow strat and didn't take, and they took like two. They took one T2 the entire game. So
Yeah. All right. Moving on to game 2 here. Of Goat Squad versus the Dire.
oh yeah, don't forget that Hitagi had left their team too.
Yeah. Press F for respects. My
F
God.
for respects.
That was probably the most civil emotes in the like State of Affairs channel. Was Hitagi's leaving message? It was just like a bunch of Fs. I was proud.
F to pay respects.
Arctan showed up. In
Yeah,
game
dude, this
2.
is. I was literally just writing the PPP for this team, and I said this is probably the first game of the season that Arctans actually showed up to play.
I think you've said that for almost every team we've covered, about one player on it so far.
Which is generally true if you look at it. Actually, technically, it was two. It was 2 players.
Oh my God, they
Yeah.
gave Cup of Joe. Don't forget the Cup of Joe hero and Lich. But yeah.
I mean,
2? We're on the 4th one. That's half.
I mean, that's fair. That'll happen when your team is 0-4 and then you finally win a game. You need somebody to go ham.
Or 1 and 5.
Or 1-5. Now they're 1-5 because they won this game.
But yeah, this Lich pick, clearly Zelfer more of a Lich player than a Silencer.
He played the offlane, right?
Yeah, he was Vor.
Yeah, it looks like they just ran this like Lich mega harass with Bloodseeker lane, and then they just got Sheep's lane just got fucking ran at.
Shout out.
Look at how even the deaths are on Sheep's team. It's 13, 13, 13, 13, 14.
It's top. Another thing is that shout out to that Kunkka pick there. Kunkka against Storm is just the least fun matchup I have to ever play because he's so fucking beefy. Like, what the fuck, man?
It's not just beefy, but he has kill threat on you unless he has kill threat just through the X combo, which like he just makes you run away. And then you're using mana to run away, which feels really bad as Storm Spirit.
It's like, I don't know, like
This
Tidebringer is such a good spell.
Let's do an 18-minute data list, like.
This is some prohibit stuff right here.
This is some shit.
I don't know if there's too much more to cover here. Like Peacock had a bit of a letdown to me. I had more hope, but he was the letdown in both games. Colin not doing well here. It looks like he almost flipped his other score. He went 2-13 in this game.
Oh. Yeah, no, like I said, it actually just looks like this Bloodseeker pick just fucking destroyed whatever they had planned. Like Bloodseeker in lane is very, very good against like essentially a solo centaur, especially with the Lich. Just like the amount of harass that comes out from that lane. If you don't have help on the centaur, then you just lose. And like I guess we just saw him, we see it. They just lost.
All right, moving on to Vynil versus Envi. This is my series of the week. God, this is a painful fucking thing, man. I was very done with this. Mostly because the enemy team name just triggers me.
Green.
It only makes sense on our website. It makes sense nowhere outside of it. But we lost to Terrorblade. That's the summary of the game. I also made the mistake of picking DNM and Necrophos, which you probably shouldn't do for your all-star player. Yeah. Oh, I think I included it. I took one of his kills. We were diving this the wyvern, and he had the fucking death pulse on the way, and it was about to hit, and I just yeeted that shit right up from him on Weaver. You can actually see. I think I did it in his player perspective. He like pauses his camera for a second. Like, did that really happen?
So how did you approach this game when they didn't ban any of your heroes?
I was just like, these guys are smart. They know not to target me.
These guys are smart.
They banned like actually good shit. They banned Ogre. I think that's the only hero on here that we actually have played. So good on them. I don't know. I drafted this really weird because like I was just like I'm tired of drafting these retarded supports. I'm picking Venge first, and I'm gonna pick something else. And I picked Weaver, which you probably shouldn't do into Centaur, especially not into Enchantress. But I had a plan, and then he banned Drow, so then the plan fell apart. But I knew they wanted a Terrorblade, so I picked Jakiro, and then we just laned Weaver Jakiro into Terrorblade, which is no fun. You just Geminate attack and then Liquid Fire, and he has to eat through all of his regen. Nugget Nick, shout out to Nugget Nick for playing Tiny, and then as soon as the game starts, asking me and Nutter how toss works now.
What?
We were like, he's like, so what's the range on toss? And it's like to grab or to throw. And it's like, if you're hitting them, you can toss them. And then Nutter's like, no, it's shorter than your hit range. It's like, no, Nutter, you're talking about tree grab. This toss. I think he played it well. I think the only thing he didn't do was like he just never wanted to get rid of the tree. Like he wouldn't throw it to get like one extra hit to force out like a salve or something. That was his main issue.
I'll just say, you guys gave Matador his best hero.
Oh, Invoker?
Yeah, by far his best hero, I think.
He only went 5, 3, and 12, so.
Yeah, but like when it looks like he did everything that he needed to do in this game, like running, like he got like a fairly early earn, and was able to just like run around. Even if he isn't getting kills, he's just making space for like NVTV.
Oh, we could not fucking find that Terrorblade for 30 minutes. We warded their entire top jungle because they're dire, and we're just looking for him, hunting him down, and we see like all of his illusions farming lanes. And we're like, fuck, he's farming the triangle. Our supports would not ward that fucking triangle. And also we couldn't get over there because they were always over there. So we just didn't kill the Envi Terrorblade for probably about 30 minutes, and he just farmed it up.
So what you're saying is you got outplayed.
Absolutely, clearly.
Absolutely.
But also, like, I don't know what I was thinking. We have like no initiation. Like our initiation is Tiny blinks in, toss stuns the Enchantress to kill her.
It's a pretty solid initiation.
Yeah, but like,
but the problem is you don't have any like your follow up is weak.
If Terrorblade metamorphoses and summons all his delusions, what do? We fucking Jakiro ult?
You cry.
Like that was our issue. We couldn't fight into it. So every time he did that, he just got whatever he wanted.
It just kind of looks like you just kind of are sad.
Yeah, it was no fucking bueno on our end. I don't know. I think I did okay in Weaver. I just don't think. I think my main issue is I just didn't move around enough. I didn't like secure any kills. So we're gonna move on to game 2. And another Timbersaw mid. What's going on here?
I actually don't understand this one even a little bit. My guess is that they picked it because it's good against, again, it's 3 strength heroes, and it's good against Wyvern because like you can't curse him, and he doesn't kill anybody with right clicks. So he's actually really good against the first 4 heroes that you guys picked. The problem is that SF is probably the single, like, I'd say Pugna is up there as well in terms of heroes that can just absolutely dumpster that hero in lane and make him a useless sack of shit.
I quite like I was actually worried about the SF pick for a few reasons, but I quite like the Sven into Timbersaw. Because to me, like, you have like 3 ways to deal with that hero. Like, you can either just straight magic damage him, or you have to just land such big crits to start him off with because he has no armor yet, because he has to build it up. So Sven, I think, is pretty okay there, or you have to have like a good mix.
I don't know. A lot of the time, the problem with Timbersaw is that he's pushing your towers and always taking your creeps.
Oh,
And it's
shout
like
out to Timber for taking the 100 damage talent to push a little bit faster.
that's a shout out right there. The problem with Timber is that, or like when you try to go on Timbers, is that a lot of times they're like in between your towers. So they've got their 20 armor stacks already. So like there's like actually nothing you can do because he's got so much armor. But the problem is they have a fucking, you guys picked like a very good DNM pick here, and the hero that can like end the game, like win the game, win his lane, win the game kind of like hero.
Also, I'm super sold, and Envi agreed. We went on Mikkel's thing on this Sven against Monkey King, because you just you E, and then either you can walk out of there as a team, or if you have enough damage, you can probably just attack him, because you're both gonna have the plus 20 armor. It's unfavorable still to fight him in ult, but it's at least more possible.
And if the Sven's actually ahead, the MK can't fight him at all.
Yeah, Nugget does not like the Mask of Madness build. Shout out to him for dealing with that and actually getting good item.
Yeah, I think you have to on that hero. You just don't farm fast enough otherwise.
We were super convinced that was a Pugna mid. I did not want to pick Shadow Fiend into Pugna mid.
I think that lane is fine.
I don't know.
Like dead ass. It's like Pugna mid is only really good against heroes that can't see us in lane, and like once SF gets like once he gets like level 3-ish, he can just raise, go jungle. Level 3 raise. Sorry.
Do you think this is the build for Pugna? Just Aether into Dagon 5, no Blink Dagger, not needed?
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily need Blink on Pugna, but I think you need.
I think you need Blink or Yules. I think you need something.
Yeah, I think I don't actually like Blink that much on him, but I think Veil Yules Aether is like the pretty generic build up for that hero.
But I don't know what they were thinking with the Pugna build though, because if you life drain Centaur, then he either has to cancel or Centaur just walks up to you and cancels it for you because he doesn't have BKB. And then you can't life drain anyone else because Centaur is just gonna get them out of there. So
I think it's more the issue. You just die if you stand still against this team. You just get jumped by like 3 different heroes.
At one point it was just me and Nugget on the Sven just farming, and we just sent Ogre and Wyvern with DNM, and they just kept them topped up. I think Ian Powerson, who's our Ogre mage, I bought 9 clarities just to use on DNM, and then Nutter's just healing him on Wyvern. It was actually hilarious. Like anytime Ian died in lane, he's just like, yo boss, you need anything? And he would just TP mid with DNM's items and just deliver it to him so the other lanes could use the courier.
Classic.
I think he's consistently bought 2 to 3 salves for DNM. So it's working out.
I see that on the replay right now. You just have 2 heroes following him.
That's what we need. I think that's about it. I did a bit better on the highlights this time because I didn't recycle footage, so you can see my other teammates doing plays.
Oh wow, look at that.
It's hard to find a good DNM play, I'll say that.
What do you mean?
Because they're all good.
Oh.
It would just be 27 minutes long.
That's fine. I could watch DNM play 27 minutes of Dota.
Also, he uses a middle mouse for the camera movement, and it looks really janky in replays, so.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on to Brightside versus Redhq. We have a thing to play here. We're gonna play a little video before it starts. We're gonna watch the draft here. So you ban Silencer Weaver, and then you ban Dark Willow and Viper. Ban Centaur, ban PL. Okay. Enchantress Ogre into Bane Marana. What the fuck?
What do you mean? We first pick the Ench.
Yeah, I know. Like, first pick Enchantress.
We first pick Ench, and
What?
a lot of this draft it was actually just kind of like lost on the fact that I got super caught up in the Enchantress. But like no, like I'm not even kidding. Like I'm sure like a lot of people have done that where you just like there's like the super broken hero, and you just like it doesn't get touched in the draft, and you're like, oh, why don't we just take this broken hero? But like the problem is that like I thought the Enchantress lane would go a lot better than it did. Like we had Ench Ogre lane, which is like really good against pretty much everything, but we just got like I guess our positioning was just off because we just got arrowed a few too many times to like come back into the lane.
Shout out to you for using literally all of your time to pick Slark. Like, what the fuck were you thinking?
All right, my literal logic was there's no safe lane hero that can deal with the storm pick that is coming. So I'm going to get something that can like kill their other core.
Also, for you watching, this is not a loop. This is the this will have actual highlights after the draft. I forgot I put the draft in this as well.
So that was that was game 2.
Yeah, yeah. It's the biggest thing that stood out. Okay. I don't know. See, like I picked Slark, but I'll give you shit for it because you didn't pick it for the same reason as me.
I thought, if I'm being honest, I thought both games we just kind of got we just got outdrafted, which made playing the game really hard.
I mean, what's your answer
and
to skip Storm?
I mean, I knew we didn't have an answer to it. At this pick right now, at like on the screen, like the 18th pick, I know they're gonna pick Storm. Like, and I know they're going to pick Storm because I can't ban both TA and Storm. But I'd rather give my mid player at least a somewhat good lane. But there's no hero in Dota I can pick in the safe lane except Void, which is awful. And then game 1, they just like the only reason it says middle Drew is because we had our Earthshaker literally sit mid the entire game camping skip.
That's what you gotta do.
I mean, literally, like they picked the TA, and I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about that hero. But we had a double melee lane into Ogre Willow, and we just got that lane just went about as bad as you could imagine.
Is this the first week Redhq has played both games for his team?
He didn't play either game last week, if I remember correctly, because he was out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
Longoria not impressing.
I thought Longoria did his job. He kind of just split pushed the entire game.
This is Redondo's stat line right here. It's like he just was like, all right, I'm playing top. Everyone else go to another lane.
He really just kind of split pushed bottom the entire game, and then we took a couple of dumb fights, and then Skip won them the game. So, also, I will say this was the first series I played with Omdad. And so like I had literally had no idea what the fuck they were going to pick him. And then they picked him Willow, and his Willow was just fucking amazing. I was like, all right, guess we're getting rid of that hero. And then they banned it next game, but like my thinking was like, oh, I guess we better fucking ban it. And then I think Redhq played very, very well in both of these games. His positioning, he was like known as like a feeder a lot of times. Just like what's the term, like,
well, he normally plays like Sand King, so if you take a bad stun on Sand King, you're dead because you're in the middle of them.
I don't want to say he's a feeder, but like he's just like a very aggressive player, I guess is probably the technical term for it. And he literally just could not in these 2 games, I was very impressed with his positioning on both the supports he played. I thought his Bane or his Wyvern and his Bane were both really, really good. So
yeah, you can see on the stream now, like this is before 10 minutes that all of this is happening. Like this is insanity.
What, this fight? Oh, this fight?
Yeah,
I actually gamed the shit out of them in this fight. Like, I'm not even gonna lie.
I was shocked you lived. I'm pretty sure you made it out of here, but I was shocked at least how long you lived when gathering this footage.
It's just like it's when you have to like outplay them that hard in a fight. It doesn't. It's not a good sign. But yeah, so I think my biggest takeaway from the series was that a lot of what Red's team tries to do revolves around Skip, and his mid lane pool is much smaller than his safe lane pool. And so I think if you get rid of the Storm TA, in a lot of games, like if you force them to pick like a quote unquote off hero for him, then you stand a much better chance in the game. Like in a lot of the games that they've lost, they've picked like Invoker, like it's just like heroes that like you don't really expect Skip to like play because he's known for like his TA, his Storm, his like even his Kunkka is all right. So like if I take anything away from that, I think is that this team is very. I think this team could be very pigeonholed in future drafts coming out of this.
I'll probably agree with that. Moving on to Badger, the best badman there ever was, versus Autoattacks.
Oh yeah.
This is a special treat video just for Badger.
Wait, what's their team name?
The Phoenix Player Consortium, or
that's right.
it's something like that. If only there was a third P in there.
I found it.
It would have been PPP. But yeah, this special compilation. Just
all right, so this game was. You ready for this? This game was literally Badger debuted a new hero. All right. First game, he debuted a new hero, and then game 2, he got 3 heroes banned against him.
We should probably clarify. The new hero is Wyvern, right?
Yes, the new hero is Wyvern.
For our audience.
Game 2, let me look at the bans just to make sure.
Game 2, he played Nature's Prophet as a support.
Game 2, they actually gave him Bane. He didn't get 3 heroes. He got Wyvern banned against him though. Holy shit, that's actually hilarious. All right, so
this lane was a bloodbath, by the way, in game 2 on this nature. I don't know what Badger's fucking thinking, but he's man fighting a Meepo.
Dude, he's gonna get him. He didn't get him. Oh my god, that feels bad.
There were a few times like that. This is every death from Badger in game 2.
How long is the video?
It's all 14 of them. I think it's almost 6 minutes long.
Holy shit. All right, so let me look at game. Let's look. Game 2, they got Meepo'd, I think would be an appropriate.
Yeah, Divine won Meepo. Pretty bad time.
Divine won Meepo. Yikes, and Auto didn't really have to do anything this game. It's kind of weird when you can say that about Auto's team. Like his job was to be Centaur. You just sat in front. And they it looks like he just kind of free farmed his lane too. Like he had a really early Vanguard blink timing.
I don't know. I think Zamoxie's just. I don't know about this draft because I'm pretty sure Zamoxie's drafts, right?
Yes.
For this team. Like what is this?
Are you talking about game 2 still?
Yeah, on game 2, like what?
Game 2, I'm not sold on.
Supposed to work.
I mean, a lot of this changes the second the Meepo the pick comes out. I think their draft is fine up until then, but this just a free Meepo game, and like it's just one of those heroes where if it's a free Meepo game, you just lose the game.
So you see Meepo, and you pick Monkey King.
Well, they assumed. My guess is that they wanted the Meepo in whatever lane the MK was in.
I assume they wanted it Meepo mid versus Monkey King. Right.
Oh, I'm sure that's exactly what they wanted. So what happened though is that they ran the Meepo in the safe lane.
Net into Cold Feet is pretty monk-ass.
Yeah, and then just like Monkey's only good against MK in lane. And I think that's one of the common misconceptions with that hero. And so like the second the second Meepo gets like any sort of mobility item timing, like the MK can just die at any time, at any point on the map.
Shout out to this big dick build. Just go into Shadowblade. Fuck Blink Poof. But you don't need it. Just
So
Shadowblade walk in.
that's the build nowadays. If I'm being completely honest, you just build. I'm surprised he didn't go multiple EBs. I'm sure he would have if it went later.
He's
like,
not DNM. I think
no,
DNM and a Scrim had a double Ethereal Blade on a.
No, that's like a legit strat because it gives a shit ton of stats.
It's the most agility in the game, yeah.
Yeah, it gives so much agi.
But like,
all right,
I don't know.
I mean, did you want to look at game one? I mean,
I don't think we need to set the tone for game one because Badger won. I don't think we need to give him any fame. Silver played Dragon Knight and went 0-7.
I think. I mean, they just picked a draw strat, and then Zamo got a 31-minute, 31-minute Radiance Blink Manta Octarine on Alchemist, and then they won the game with Aegis.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Like, there's not much to discuss here. Like, what the fuck? Autoattacks on Ogre.
I'm actually really impressed.
Oh
I actually
God,
really
Crimson Guard, Ogre.
Yeah, dude.
What?
It's legit. You have like 16 armor with it.
You could have farmed so many other items.
I'm okay with Crimson. Because look at all the damage that comes out from Radiant. It's all physical. Especially against a Drown lineup. The problem is that this Wyvern pick actually just like completely shuts down anything that Autoattacks team wants to do. Like this Lycan can't play fights. He summons his wolves and his Necro, and then he just gets killed in a curse to his own minions. And you're just like you're sitting there as like this fucking alpha wolf, and you just like die to like all of the minions you summon. You're like, well, fuck. Now what?
To clarify to Filski, I do like Crimson as an item, not on Ogre though. I don't know. I feel like it could have been like a Force Staff or something.
Anyway, that's about all I have on this game. I think the game one, both of these games came a lot down to the draft.
Yeah.
Game one, Zamo had a very, very solid draft. Game two, they got meatbowed, and there's really nothing you could do about it.
All right, moving on. We have another treat. It's for my boy. We're gonna listen to this. This is from the last season. This is some commentary.
And Filski in the offlane is just a terror. He's better than most offlaners I've seen in RD2L, including some of the ones like Redondo or Autoattacks, who are supposedly really.
And that's all. That was Mellowfox from last season commenting on Filski offlane. We're gonna go into Bubbs versus Nullagon. What do you think of what do you think happened here? What went wrong?
So from what I've heard is that I opened Boog's team on accident. That's not the right team. From what I heard is that Nullagon Boolins just kind of just tilted off the face of the earth, and then Bubbs' team just like ran pretty standard Dota and then won the game.
These were the most boring games. There were only 3 fights that Open Dota even registered as team fights. Only one of them was even above 1k net worth exchange. In both games, there was just 3 and then one of them.
I mean, like, what the actual fuck happened in this safe lane? Like, how does... I'm actually confused as to how Doom dumpsters...
It's fucking Doom and Filski. Filski Doom.
Yeah, but the problem is that like MK, he's laning against Boolin's Monkey, which is probably his best hero. So like, I guess Filski just actually is the best Dota player of all time or something.
Did you? Oh my god! Even Mellowfox.
Dude, I heard it. I'm just saying, it looked like this game is backing it up. and like they actually got like I think this PL pick would have worked had their other lanes just got not absolutely fucking shit stomped. Because PL versus a very farmed PL just solo wins this game. but like he just doesn't come online soon enough. So they just doom this MK or Necro every fight and then win the fight.
Yeah.
There's just so much jump.
It's super fucking weird. But yeah, Filski Dota is good Dota. 7-1 and 15 on Doom into Monkey King. Moving on to game 2. Another boring game. Nier goes 12-0 on Juggernaut. That's the story of the game. Pistachio, by the way, they're a free agent. He played Lich. Did pretty okay, I think.
He's never
Blade Mail
ranked.
Lich.
You know, I'm assuming the game was over by this time.
Let's see, it ended at 42. He got this at 39.
I would argue that this was like a 20k gold lead when he bought this item. So what happens here? They run a Tinker, and then the Tinker dies. Okay, so the Tinker dies once at 10 minutes. What time does he get his bots? He gets his bots right after he dies, so he gets a pretty good bots timing.
If you have level 4 shield from Abaddon, does that tank an entire march for a creep?
It's probably pretty close. That on top of the pipe.
If it does, then that's your solution.
I know, it's more just that the shield is really good, and then he bought a blade mill, so like the Tinker can't you just sit there and march with blade mill on.
It purges a laser, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
The biggest thing here is it just looks like I'm not sure how. I think a lot of this is on the Visage pick.
How do you start a fight on Dire?
Exactly. Like they last picked this Visage when they have a Tinker. And so their thinking here is that they want to sit 4 heroes. Like they just want to run at towers. That's my thinking. Is so they just set the Pit Lord in front of a tower with Visage birds and treants, and then they have the Tinker backing them up. But the problem is that they just get there's so much raw damage output coming out from Radiant's team. Like they have Lich ulti, they have all of I can't think of heroes. All of Shadow Shaman's abilities. And then they have this super farmed Juggernaut coming on top of it, and then just Heartstopper. And so it's just very hard for them to control fights with their limited amount of stuns.
We have clarification from Rimster that it was Ursa versus the Monkey King, and Doom was against a Necrophos.
I would argue that's more impressive, although it's not against Boolans.
All right. I think that's it. I think we've noticed Nirkun enough.
I will say this. I think Bubbs is. I'm actually curious to look at how many deaths this supports. I don't know if there's any data on it, but I'm kind of curious to do it as to how many deaths the support players have through the first 3 weeks. And I will put money that Bubbs is probably has the least deaths on any support player.
But they're playing super clean Dota though.
Yeah, they're playing super clean Dota, and a lot of that just stems from the support play. And Bubbs has just been fucking rock solid from that position, just in terms of not dying, consistently getting vision down where and when they need it. And it just it sets up a core Nier that can just capitalize on it and win the game off of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Bubbs' team is the new Mellowfox team, even though Bubbs is Ancient too, so it's not the same style exactly. But I feel like they're that team because they want to scrim every day and stuff. They're playing really clean Dota. They have a really solid safe laner, and then they also have Filski in the off lane, and then their mid laner is just this guy who's doing pretty well for his rank. I'll say that. It's pretty good.
He's doing very good. But that's about all I have on that one.
Moving on to Patience versus Quasar.
Oh, dude, wait, I should have sent you this. Hold on.
Oh no, I'm receiving last minute intel.
I forgot to send you this. Fuck. Okay, here. I'm gonna. You can go ahead and go on to the next series. I'll send it to you.
And we are on Jaden Smith Van versus Quasar DPA. I don't know. This series was fucking awful to watch.
Really? Why?
It's just a stomp. Like, I don't know. Oh boy, I think he tried. I don't think they had Boish.
I think he tried. All right.
He did okay. He had some good ults on that Warlock, but Boish didn't play. I think yeah, they just lost Loves. Don't know if you knew this, but not Loves Muffins has been removed from their team after a vote from the admin panel. Yeah, I just this team is super weird because
All right.
Captain, what does he do?
I mean, they forced it pretty much forced Vanilla Acoustic to go mid, and I really think that just sums up this fucking game. I'm not sure why Loves played support in game 1 either.
He's a
but,
fourth player, man. Don't you know?
That's why he went 4-13, right?
on Ogre. I will say though, I watched him. I examined him. He had some okay plays. He set up a few good kills.
Okay. Here's the other one of this. Sorry.
I probably should have toned down the overlay on this one.
That's so. All right. Again, big takeaways. Patience team is now 3-0 with Mid Phoenix, and I think this is the second game that they've opened with Treant Phoenix in their first 2 picks. So I don't know why teams keep giving that to them. I think it was poor prep from Quasar. Game 2, I think they picked. I think they picked Phoenix again, but it wasn't mid. So they ran it as a core still, but it wasn't mid. And then Cosmic went 32-2.
Wait, hold on. What the fuck have you sent me? What is this?
This was
Who is this?
Chris.
Can I show this on stream?
You should edit the names out. Here, I'll put there you go. So, well, if you want to edit and show that on stream, you can, but so I think Target again had a really good series. Like, Patience is putting a fucking what face in the chat, but like, dude, what the fuck? How do you keep getting Phoenix? I think they're 4-0 now with the hero, 3-0 with it as a mid. I think Blue Eyes just lives to play this hero or something. And then meanwhile they're trying to deal with this Phoenix, and then Cosmic's casually going 32-2 on Storm Spirit. And I think looking at straight replacements, they replaced Pingu with Cosmic, and I think it was just a straight upgrade for Patience's team. Just straight up.
Yeah, probably.
And then I don't really understand this Drow strat. I guess they thought they were EG or something. They ran Love's team, or the Quasar team ran a Drow gyro strat. But this team seems very, very difficult. Or not difficult. This team just seems super questionable now because they have Vanilla Acoustic playing middle lane, and they don't have Loves there anymore. So now they're just unless they're replacement, their stand-in or is super value. I don't see this team having a lot more success.
You're probably right on that. I think I have your thing ready now. So this is from Bubbs versus Nullagon, I think.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get this up. Just to make it clear, the last letter has been kept in. But you can see here, there's a conversation going on here. I don't know what's going on, but what in the fuck happened is never a good way to question someone. I'm just gonna keep feeding unintentionally and lose fast. Can I get back to solo queue? Oh my god.
So there's a little bit of dysfunction going on in the Nullagon team, it would appear. And then Nullagon came in. You were in there, right? In the PPP1 channel.
I don't think I was in there for this.
He came into the channel, and Nullagon was just like, "Yeah, I think I'm just gonna disband my team."
God.
There were like everybody was just fucking emo, apparently. And he just said that like he shouldn't have to try this hard to like bring his team together or something. So we'll see. We'll have to keep a close eye on what happens with this team.
What do you think of support Furion?
What do I?
What do you think of it?
I think support Furon is fine.
I mean, it's meme support Furion, man.
I don't understand. I don't know what it's just. It's just unnecessary flame.
Isn't that like a legitimate hero? I got memed by support Furion in a scrim. What the fuck? What? You sent me something that I would think like one of the undesirables from EST Sunday would send me.
Exactly.
All right, moving on from both this and on to Habits versus Watts.
Oh god, dude. Oh, that's the wrong Watts team. Whoops.
Whoops.
Whoopsie daisy.
Right, yeah.
Game one of this was a straight out draft.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Like 100%. So
I think CK is the best hero they could have picked here.
Oh, it 100% is. And I think actually Z wanted to ban the hero, but Watts didn't.
Who the fuck is Z? Frenzy?
Z is Frenzy. I call him Z because I don't know.
It's capital,
He was
man.
good. I don't know. But this is just a straight out draft. They tried to run this like cheese push strat on Watts team. And then they got CK picked at 18, and there's nothing they do to that hero.
The
And
only thing you
also-
have is like Dark Willow stun.
Yeah. And like Willow is good against CK but like that's if you have good follow-up damage, and they don't. And then I also thought the Clockwork pick was really, really good because it kills all three of the first three heroes that they picked. And like if you look at the score, like the Marana clock lane just went fucking bonkers.
Oh, whoops! Did not know that would be in there. Oh, okay. It's too late now. There's a message on screen from a very particular person asking me a very interesting question. Whoops. Okay. Oh, Colonel Squid, by the way. He played for Quasar's team last season. He's their new FA. What do you think?
Yes,
he had a much better time here.
I thought he had a really good game this game, and a lot of it was just because they had good lane setup, and they just like a lot of this came down to the draft. They tried the like Marana clock leaning against Drow. The second this like I'm assuming this clock went like boots windlace, and the Drow just gets like cogs, and then arrow and is dead. They just run at this Drow for like a seemingly 30 minutes, and it doesn't particularly matter that the CK has like draws even in his lane, because the fucking this like top lane went so disastrously, and then they just made space for Ice Yeti to go like 9-1. Like he got his core, he got his armlet, and then there's nothing they do to him.
This is some Ice Yeti performance that I saw last season, and it's finally returned. I don't know. Izumi did not quite Nugget Nick level performances on clock, but pretty good, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
You're bad. Once again, playing Scapegoat. 1-13 on Ogre.
Yikes. I mean, I don't know how people keep dying this many times on Ogre, but
well, your bad is always drafted as like sacrificial lamb, but he just tanks ganks.
He doesn't have a stout shield, which is very questionable. Like, I'm legitimately flaming him for not buying a stout shield right now, because that item is absolutely dumb tier broken on Ogre.
Are we gonna remove that alongside the old poor man shield?
No, it's just they buffed it last patch. He says your bet is the axe, by the way. That's game 2. We're talking about game 1.
Yeah,
Mr.
we're on
Friend.
game 1 still. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for game 1. It was pretty solid outdraft, pretty solid outplay as well. Game 2, your
Game
bet
2
plays
is just...
axe. It still has more deaths than kills, but he did better.
I mean, game 2, this game, he's just like he goes in.
Oh my
He's
god.
the only
It's your bet hotshot. It's the caster duo.
Yeah, dude.
If only they had subject in here as well.
This is his only job in the game is to blink call the PL. And so like I'm not even kidding. He'll blink call here and then he just dies. He dies to like an SB charge plus MK ulti.
There's one point where it's just it's him and I think the ogre alive, and he just calls the Phantom Lancer. Only kills the Phantom Lancer like on his own almost, and then he just dies. And the game's over.
That's pretty much axe in a nutshell. This game, I think the damage output past like 30 minutes is so reliant on the Ember Spirit that I'm not even surprised that they got beat this bad. Like, yes, you have the Ember counter to PL, but their damage output is just so low. Like, what do you do during a grip? You have like Necro hitting him. Like, I'm just very. I was questioning this draft when I looked at it the first time, and I still am, obviously.
Can we discuss that it took Ogre 40 fucking minutes to farm Ags? Did he take the gold talent?
What are you talking about? He has an Aether and a Glimmer. He's a 5-position Ogre.
He did take the gold talent. How did it take him 40 minutes?
Because he bought 38 wards and 89 sentries.
He bought Quelling Blade at 97.
He bought 89 sentries.
That's
89.
That's some shit Rubity did to us in a scrim. We picked like some Invis heroes. We just saw Rubity walking around with like 13 fucking sentries.
What else does he have to do that game? You're sitting in your base. You better goddamn buy some detection.
Jesus Christ. Frenzy dropped his rapiers clearly.
I mean, this was just like this game was actually very over. They got mega creeped. Habits completely snowballed off of mid. I think the what's his face had a very good. Not the what's his face. The SB did. Sorry, SB did a very good job of securing the mid lane. Necro died like 3 times in the first 6 minutes, and Habits just fucking snowballed off of it.
What
beyond like Ice said he had a good scoreline here, but he had a very hard time getting into fights, and so just like a lot of this was on Habits having a good game.
This is the Spirit Breaker player's profile picture enlarged for our glamorous viewers. What? What the fuck is this? This is iCarly. I don't know what that is, that video, but
that looks like Drake.
Some dank Christian memes here, dude.
That looks like Drake from Drake and Josh. Am I wrong? It's Josh Peck.
I don't think that's Josh Peck. It's a bit too fit.
Yo, he's trying to.
He's got tattoos on his arms. It's not him. Renzi is not amused. It's your player, man. Oh no, it's enemy team. I'm sorry. Anyway. I don't know. I feel like Izumi did not show up in this game on this bench.
So I mean, he's 310 and he has 35 assists. So like, I would argue that he did, and like his job in this game is to just swap the hero that gets called, and then die. And then that's all he has to do. So
yeah,
it's like kind of hard to argue that because Venge scorelines are very deceiving because that hero has a very specific role.
What's the last? Should we talk about the length of this game?
No.
You could watch all of Avengers in this time almost.
Yeah, you could watch a whole movie in this time.
Like,
yeah.
Shout out to them for not playing their next game on a Wednesday.
I mean, this was game 2.
I don't care. They could have been like, pause. We're just gonna have a 3-day pause. They leave your PC on.
I need a break.
They probably had a pee break in this, dude. I'm telling you, man.
I'm sure they did. It was a 2+ hour game.
It's top tier. All right, moving on to DaywalkeR versus Bears team.
Bears team, you mean Xccepted?
No, Bear. It's Bears team.
Oh, I see. What the fuck? Oh, wait, what's their team name again?
Anthony Fantano here.
Oh, that's right. I'm dumb.
Bear played quite well this game.
This was the Bear
Phoenix.
Let me make sure I'm looking at the right game. Yeah, okay.
Gohan.
I mean, this was
Monkey King.
I mean, Bear had a good game, but really, this is just. I don't want to take too much away from because obviously it had a really good scoreline, but like fucking Xccepted and Gohan just they just fucking dominated this game, and it just looks like this like core duo of Alex and Gohan is just way too strong right now for a lot of teams to deal with, and then they just put
name leaked. Oh,
everybody calls him that. Hello,
I've never seen that.
Okay, well,
that Wizard of Chaos guy though. That guy.
Wizard is a very, very solid offlaner. I've played a decent amount of pubs with him. I've been very impressed. He thrives on chaos creator offlaners, i.e. ET, i.e. Tidehunter, i.e. Centaur, i.e. Earthshaker. A lot of these heroes are banned, probably for a very specific person that's playing the game. But yeah, it really just looks like this Radiant draft is very single target heavy, and then they just let this Medusa free farm for 20 minutes, and then she got a 21-minute Scotty, and then they ran down the lanes and won the game. That's what it looks like happened on the net worth graph. So
I'm gonna put on stream. This is the key to beating the enemy team here.
The enemy team? We're talking about two teams.
Yeah, this is how you beat DaywalkeR team.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Step one to beating DaywalkeR team. Ban Invoker. Step 2.
Don't unban Invoker game 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, game 2.
Surprisingly, game 2 they won without Invoker.
DaywalkeR Necrophos mid.
Okay, here's what I heard from Wizard about this game is that they were fucking stomping this game, and then they just didn't buy BKBs on their 2 cores for some reason, and then they lost because of it. Is what literally what happened. I had a very similar thing happen against DaywalkeR team, and when we played them, and that they just held high ground with this Tidehunter Willow. I think I actually don't remember what their other, but the Tidehunter high ground, you just get ravaged into Reaper and you lose a hero, and then you're taking a 4v5 fight, and if you don't have BKBs, you just can't do anything about it. And they just didn't buy BKBs, and I think Xccepted bought Desolator instead of BKB, he said, and that was like the game losing mistake.
Probably.
And so like I give credit to DaywalkeR team for capitalizing on it, but I think a lot of this was on Xccepted team for throwing.
I think so. All right, moving on to rulebook, the team. Rainie versus JBay.
Fucking rulebooks, faggot bitches. If they fucking schedule a game to not be played on the day, and then they have they get rule booked on it, like I'm actually triggered about it, just because like if that happened to me, I would be irate.
Yeah, like somebody brought that up there. Like if we had just said no, we're playing at normal time, they would have been better off anyway. Like I didn't want to honor it, but my hands were tied by the rules, and other people commanded me to honor this rule booking. So
what the fuck is this play I'm watching? They just ran 3 heroes at the
I don't know what's going on, man.
They just ran 3 heroes at Zeus, and then he killed all of them. What the fuck? They ran 4 heroes at him. I'm sorry.
It's
All right, I'll say this once. This team is going to be the best team in ESC Sunday.
what, JBay team or Rainie?
Rainie team.
I don't know. Mikkel's a god.
I am convinced that this duo of A and Rainie is unbeatable until I see otherwise. And
They have
like the
a
only
double immortal, right?
yeah, they have a double immortal. Like the A is an immortal mid player and Rainie is an immortal mid / safe lane player. And so it like Shuo, we've already talked about him being like pretty shady on his skill level. But like I firmly believe that anybody could succeed on this team given the other 2 cores that they have. Like A just went 17-2 on like the mid Zeus. It doesn't really matter what Rainie does in this game because he's playing Wraith King. He has the blink. He goes full Ooga Booga into fights and creates chaos. Like there's just like it's so hard for this like Ember Spirit to do stuff in fights just because there's so much like stuff that can control him.
I don't know.
And they just
I feel like this is the worst version of Melofox's team to me.
What, JBay's team or Rainie's team?
Rainie's team. It's just like you have 2 really good core players, and then like your supports are just kind of there. I feel like Melofox's team had much better supports in Nutter and Shmeezy. I don't know.
I think Kingfisher's a very good support player.
Yeah, but like they don't have a Filski though. Like it was Melofox, Longoria, and then you also had to deal with
okay, but here's the difference. You replaced Longoria with an immortal mid player. And
Longoria
then
played at a well above his rank.
Yeah,
Come
but
on
he's
now.
not rank 1800 NA.
I don't know. I think he beat Melofox mid at one point.
I think Melofox is also on record of being a complete dog shit mid player.
He plays Shadow Demon mid mate. Come on now. Think of the balls that takes.
Listen, all I'll say about this team is that Mikkel was 13-10 in this game, or 11-10, sorry, and he lost mid. And then none of the other lanes won, and that's just a recipe for disaster when Mikkel is your best player. That's what I'll say.
Mikkel's your best player? I don't know.
I think Dongerclizz is a very solid core player, but the Zeus pick is super counters him. Like if the Zeus has good positioning, the CK can't do anything in fights just because of static field.
I don't know.
This team's super reliant on getting the initiation, like on JBay team. And then they just have there's so many things to disrupt the initiation. They have Tree and Ulti, they have Global, they have fucking Zeus mini stuns, like permastuns, vision advantage. A lot of this does seem like partial outdrafts. And then just like a lot of it's also just an outplay.
How many times has Mikkel played Ember Spirit?
Probably a lot.
He played it twice last week. He played it when he stood in for a team this Sunday. I think it was Flarey team. And then he played it in this game.
It's almost like it's his best hero.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought that was supposed to be AM.
I'm fairly certain Mikkel Ember is his best hero. I can't speak for him, but I think it's one of his best heroes. So.
All right. Moving on. We're going to go on to Guam versus John the Green.
Oh, God, not this series.
Good God.
Okay, so Guam, I asked Guam what happened in this game, and he just said, we won easy mode.
They picked fucking techies!
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Techies went 4-10-5. That is not...
They picked techies with the Drow Visage strat, and then they lost in 26 minutes. Like, they got dumpstered in all their lanes. This sniper, there's like very little like that deals with him except for Centaur. And then on top of that, they have a Spectre just haunting in. They like picked a Drow strat and they didn't ban Spectre. They like normally when you play that, you're supposed to ban the Spectre PL. And they do that, and then they lost the game because of it. And it's a very questionable draft from John the Green. Even beyond the techies, which just Anyways.
It is. I will say it is very unfun to play Wyvern into Spectre because she can kill you through heal.
Oh yeah, very, very, very fun. The only problem, yeah, like it's actually miserable, and the Wyvern didn't get a single defensive item all game. She just had a bad game, and like she didn't. She was level 10 in the game, or he was, which means that he didn't get the gold GPM talent early, so he was just like the super sad, poor Wyvern player that just died in a haunt, or like a assassinate.
All right, game 2. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
How do they lose?
What do you mean? How did they
Twice.
lose?
Where's Ablutinio?
I guess he didn't play.
I guess he was tilted off the face of the earth from how bad his fucking techies plays were the first game. Jesus Christ. 4-10 and 5 on techies, man. Come on now.
Okay, here's what happened.
Low prio players do better than that.
You wanna know what happened? They picked CK and didn't ban Medusa. That's the story of the game. Like, look at how little damage this core CK does compared to his Ember, or compared to like the PL on the other team, or compared to the Medusa. And you want to know why he did no damage? Because the Medusa just fucking dumpsters that hero. He actually didn't even buy Ags on Dusa. I don't understand Dota anymore.
He doesn't need it, mate. He's challenging himself.
I guess you could make the argument that you don't need it because you can just kill him with Stone Gaze. But like I still firmly believe you just buy Ags and that hero does, or CK hero does nothing. But
yeah.
This beyond that, the PL had a completely free. Oh god, sorry.
Christ.
The PL had a pretty free game. Like the Ember is I think Ember is a pseudo counter until Mega Late game, and even then, until you get Rapiers is when Ember actually starts to kill PL. But the problem was that there was the PL and a Dusa, and this game went late enough for them to both get 4 to 5 slotted, and they just don't have the damage to deal with it straight up.
I think that's all we can say for this game, really. This is awful performance from John the Green's team.
Yeah, it's not very impressive.
Appletini is making my job too easy here. NoOneImportant versus Strider. Now this is a slightly more interesting game to me. It's just.
I was actually surprised to see that Strider got 2-0'd.
I'm extremely let down by his team in this.
They
did get Huskar, to be fair.
I was gonna say that they gave them Huskar, and then he went 18-9, and at really no point did they control the gold lead in this game.
Does Strider play Brood?
I don't know.
Does anyone on that team play Brood? What is this Brood ban doing here? Is it just because it's good against Huskar?
It's probably because generally you ban at hero 20 that counters your pick at 21. So I guess the Morphling Broodmother matchup is hard. I don't know either of those matchups though, because I don't play them. Really, if I had to guess what happened is that NoOneImportant, who is a rank 900 player, went middle on Morphling against MrBrightside, who is Ancient 2. And then that lane went very poorly. And then the Huskar lane, every Huskar lane is going to at least draw even because Huskar is just a fucking dumbass hero to lane against. And so like you pretty much get free farm on 2 heroes. And then you're very all in on this sniper, and they just like can waveform jump him or swap him or like anything. It's very hard for them to get reliable damage out on these heroes.
Yeah.
So
I think Morphling is just like, it's the ultimate hero for this situation because you can bait so hard on that hero. You can be like, oh, I'm low HP, and then you can just, if they step up to you, you can just waveform over to them immediately, pop stun, and then you just morph strength, and you can just man fight them. It's actually absurd. Like when you're a higher level player against somebody below you, you can probably just outplay them with more.
A lot of this was probably just outplays too from NoOneImportant.
Like I had to face like an Ancient 5 on Morphling last night as Lena, and it was not fun.
I bet that sounds miserable. You just get ran at and then outplayed, and then you're just like sad.
It's the equivalent of that fucking Badger one where he almost got the Meepo.
Almost got the meepo, man. Almost. All right. Oh, game 2. Whoa, yo, did you look at game 2?
Game 2.
They picked the Broodmother.
I don't know why.
It was very lackluster.
So
She
many
went Midas on Brood. All right, step. I don't know much about Broodmother. All right, I will say that off the bat. I do know that you do not go Hand of Midas on that hero because the hero farms stupidly fast innately, just out of like the way you like move your spiders and can surpass terrain.
Let me say, DNM. I'm pretty sure DNM bought Midas on Shadow Fiend this week.
You know, fine, you guys won. Whatever.
Can we get anybody have Malachi? We can ask him. We can ask band players if you should buy fucking Midas on Brood.
I mean, okay, not only did they pick the Brood, but then NoOneImportant's team read the lane, like they picked Tiny as the counter pick, because that's a very good lane for Tiny, because you can just kill the spiders in like 2 hits. And then they read what lane the Brood was going to go to and put the Tiny there. So they actually just won this game off of where they put their heroes, because they put the Strider team tried to react to the Tiny pick by putting the Brood top, and they thought the Tiny would go mid, but the Tiny just followed the Brood and went top.
Like, I don't know how you handled this as a team though, because you have no answer to NoOneImportant. Like Strider, we put at Divine 3. It was Divine 3 or 2 that we put him at adjusted. Like, you have nobody at NoOneImportant's level. You have probably about Divine 2 or 3 players, and he already has himself and a Divine 2.
The trick, I think, to handling high MMR players is that you just need to like pick heroes that can not allow him to 1v5. So like you force the other team. Like I think Doom is a good example of a hero that can do something like that.
Doom.
I think Bane is very good as well, because you can Fiend's grip him and then enfeeble him.
Let's see. One season when I had Mellowflux and we were against it, and we were missing our offlaner, we just drafted Lich Enigma and just denied half the wave.
I think that's another good way to do it. Like
I think that's an awful way to do it. That's retarded.
I think it's not bad. You just fucking give you like the how does he has to go jungle. What the fuck does he do?
Yeah, but then he's jungling for free. You can't do anything to him.
Yeah, but jungling in this meta is awful. If he's jungling at level 4, you're okay with that. And then you just ward his jungle and then control the map because he has no farm.
I don't know.
But
I'm
that's just Dota. Anyway.
What do you do as Terrorblade here? Like,
what do you do is
Pengo's going to queue with Maelstrom and kill your entire wave of illusions.
I don't know. He had a bad lane, it looks like. He had a bad game in general. He's 5-10. And I've talked about this before with Strider team. This is the danger when you don't. Did Zypher not play?
I don't believe he did.
Okay, that changes a lot. Because Zypher didn't play, so that's like their first pick, and that changes a lot. He's their support player, so I'm guessing they just got outplayed in their lanes, because they're probably very reliant on Zypher to call like like shot call in the laning stage, just being like a Divine 1 support player, and they just got outplayed.
All right, moving on to Boog versus Flarey. By the way, I believe this is where Mikkel stood in for them.
Yes, and Boog or Mikkel stood in for Flarey, or for Yuzu on Flarey team. So game 1, Night Whisper got another. I think last week he had a really good Morphling performance. This week he followed it up with an even better one. He went 17-2 on the Morphling, and then Prohibit mid went 12-2 on the Pugna.
Oh my god. Dude, what's with these Pugnas, man? I don't think you need it
Okay.
here. I actually don't think you need it.
They ran the Pugna Morphling strat, and if you remember when Skip and I ran it, it's actually super easy to play against. Because you just get Ghetto E-Bladed, and then there's double Nether Ward, and there's so many Nether Blasts coming out that like Pugna can't or that PL can't really have an impact in this game. And you see he was 1-7 and had no game.
This is.
I guess it just looks like they just got outdrafted and outplayed, like in pretty much every facet of this game.
I mean, this is just like. This is good. This. See, I would have been like, yeah, Pugna, good hero. But then I watched DNM go the fucking magic build on SF into Pugna, and it's just like, oh no.
Okay, the thing is that Pugna is a good hero when the people are very good at Pugna. So,
Fucking, God, Prohibit.
in like Prohibit, probably played the lane. He played a tiny lane to a draw, which is generally a good sign. And then he got like the benefit of Pugna against like low MMR players a lot of times is that you can just punish their poor positioning and just feast off of them. And then we just kind of see that. Just like look at the item progression on Prohibit. Like he has 12-minute Ados, 16-minute Aether, 26-minute Ags. Like there's so much damage coming out from the Morphling Pugna at this point in the game with the Centaur in front that it's just next to impossible to get into and actually like do stuff as a Ember Spirit or as a Tiny.
All right,
Sorry.
moving on to game 2, where we do have an Ember Spirit. Or no, we don't. I'm sorry. We have a fucking Viper for Mikkel.
Oh,
Top
boy.
tier picks.
Yikes.
I'm not giving DNM Viper. I would give Rubity from last season Viper. I'm not giving my fucking DNM boy Viper. What the fuck is that?
Alright, what the fuck happened? They picked offlane Enigma, and then he went 1-6 despite winning his lane. It looks like they I'm a little curious as to what like the comms were like for this game because the Enigma went this like tank build. So he went Greaves Pipe before Blink.
Prohibit went mid-ogre.
And then
oh god.
dude, he went fucking 8-2 and 19.
That's just like a mirror score of his fucking mid-lion from last week. Like
look at his damage, dude. Him and Night Whisper. I mean, again, Night Whisper just had a fucking like he just went off again.
He took a sticky note, he wrote ×4 on it, and he just put it in the middle of his screen.
Dude, that only applies when you get the Ags.
Then he writes fucking ×8.
I mean, do you think Night Whisper did something similar with the PA? Just crit? She just wrote crit.
No. For PA, you have to yell it.
You just yell crit.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know. God, Prohibit's actually. This is the trouble with like Prohibit teams is that they become defined by Prohibit himself.
Yep. And I said that when I talked about this team originally.
But Night Whisper is here to steal the thunder.
Once, I mean, literally, once they figure out how to play around Prohibit, this team will be good. And it looks like they're
already good.
Yeah, it looks like they're already there. Like they're already there.
What do you think of Boog?
What do I think of Boog? I think he rarely likes his space cow, and the hero's not great. I'm not.
What the fuck is?
I'm
this?
not.
Skyrim?
I'm not convinced on these drafts. I think they picked double melee. I guess they didn't technically pick double melee support. They actually didn't because they picked Skywrath.
It's ogre mid. He's not support man.
Yeah. I know. I got baited by looking at the draft.
Oh my god.
I actually think his draft here is like good. Like I think I'm not sure. I'm sure.
Shit.
I'm sure Prohibit's in the draft saying, "Yo, give me mid ogre or something."
I'm sure they probably handle it like I handle DNM, but probably they have a little more freedom for him. I'm just like, DNM, you want one of these 3 heroes, and then he just picks the one he's comfortable with.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Prohibit's just like, I'm feeling mid ogre. I think that's the hero.
You're not wrong. That's about all I have on that series.
I don't know. I think Flarey himself is not showing up to play. I have yet to see a good performance. I think Brass is trying his best. Like Legend 5 going 12 and 11 on Monkey King here. Props to him.
I just think this team is very reliant on Trompy and Yuzu. Yuzu's their normal mid player. And like they need to put their mid player, whether it's Mikkel or Yuzu or whoever the hell is there for them, they need to put them on a hero that can actually do stuff and not Viper. And they pick Viper, and then like the Enigma off lane, who's your second highest, doesn't really do anything, and then just all of a sudden you're in a whole lot of trouble.
That's probably right. All right, moving on to our final series.
Wow.
Which is Rubity versus Moo. I should probably correct this to Forrest because Forrest is the real captain. If you watched the National Geographic from Badger, which was some top tier shit.
It was top tier.
But both these teams, I think they're about where they should be. I think they're gonna stay around mid tier. But I think from last week you said Rubity is playoffs.
I think Rubity makes playoffs. I think their ability to draft and outdraft and Forrest's understanding of matchups just gives them an innate advantage over most teams. This game, it looks like they just got like outplayed in the other lane in like their lanes. Like their Necro lane lost. And then Forrest won his middle lane against Action Jackson. And Moo's team is very reliant on, I think, Action Jackson to have a good game. And when he doesn't, then the team is in trouble.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think they have like a near with Oh Boy situation where like with Arisia though, where it's just like they're trying to position their support where they can use them, but also to where like they can't fuck it up. Like they can't be like overextended here. And I think it's hard to do that.
Yeah, it's very hard to make use of just like when you get that like almost last pick in the draft.
Like if you've heard Redondo talk about Mellowfox when he was on my team, like that's like the player I think you need if you're gonna like try and actually make your fifth round pick work well. I think you need somebody like Mellowfox who's going to be very direct in what they want and just tell you like, hey, you need to be here. I need you here right now. Yeah,
I don't think Moo definitely doesn't do that, and I haven't played enough with Skizzo to know, but my guess is that he doesn't because it's a rare quality to have in players.
Moo's just going to be like, what are you doing? Aren't we studying? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Coop played Disruptor.
He was what 5, 7, and 18. That's about the scoreline I expect.
Roughneck carrying from the from offlane on Weaver. Oh my god, double defusal, Weaver defusal and PL.
I mean that's pretty standard actually. It's a lot of slow for AM, and it's like an underrated thing to pick against AM because yeah, he has blink, but if you can just defusal when he blinks in, they can't do anything.
Yeah, I think if you defusal and you have a 25 on Weaver, you can probably just chase him down, no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just hard to play AM this game when your other lanes just have such a bad time.
All right, moving on to game 2. Action Jackson pulling out all the stops here, playing my hero in the mid, which is Windranger mid, and winning.
So this is, I actually watched most of this game, and again, like I just said, this team I think this team is like live or die by Action Jackson in the middle lane, and because he was their second pick, and I don't know, I think I questioned whether he was worth a fairly high pick at the time. I don't remember my reasoning why. I just remember that thinking in my head.
He's divine.
And so I know I don't remember what was me saying that like straight up. But if he has games like this, then it's totally he totally justifies the pick. And then I think Skizzo in this game just like farmed up like a madman and had bloodlust and just would, if I remember correctly, he would just chrono the Weaver or Drow and then they would win the fight. Because there's the team fight from Rubity team in this game is dog shit.
It's all single target. It's actually all
it's
single target, other than
the
silencer.
worst shit I've ever seen in my entire life. They are so single target heavy. And then like the fact that Action Jackson was able to draw mid against Forest just means that like generally good things happen.
That is a triple Ags, by the way, on a Moo's team. Wind Ranger Ags, Faceless Void, and Ogre.
Also, I think Moo was like 11-1 or something at some point in this game. Like this, I don't know how comfortable Emperor of Asia is on Drow, but he did not have a fun time in this game.
Are you saying that Moo went full retard to rack up 4 more deaths for 1 more kill?
I'm not sure. I don't remember his exact scoreline. I just remember he was having a very good game.
He healed for 400 though. How did he heal for 400? What did he bottle?
I don't know. I don't know.
He bought an urn, used it one time, and sold it.
Yeah. Dude, I don't fucking know.
How much is urn heal? It's what, 265?
It's like 300 or something. 30 health per second.
So he did it twice.
For 30 health per second for 7 seconds.
That'd be 210. So he did it twice and had it canceled like half a second early.
There you go.
There you go. Done. We've solved the case.
Classic.
All right. Moving on to next week's matchups. First up, Bubbs versus JBay. You think it's a 1-1? You think Bubbs' team is gonna lose to an inferior team? I don't know. I'm gonna commit to the Filsky train. I'm gonna say 2-0 Bubbs. I think JBay's team is quite good, but I think Bubbs' team is they're gonna make it. They're gonna be the new Dark team. Were you in RD12 for Dark's team?
What?
Yeah, when he went 16-0. Okay. Yeah, Dark he came to EST Sunday from Monday and he just went 16-0 in his first season here. With Jakku and some other guy. They were like the friendship forgery, and they think they placed 3rd in playoffs that season. Yeah, he was insane. His first loss was to Nugget Nick. I'll hold that up. All right, second series, Wise versus Rainie. 2-0 Wise. I don't know. I think Wise can do it.
I think Rainie is the best team in this league.
I think you've been muted. The whoops.
Hello.
I think you've been muted since we started matchups. Oh well.
Did I just not say
anything?
Yeah.
So if you missed it, he said JBay 2-0 over Bubbs, and Wise would lose to Rainie 2-0.
Yeah, and I said, yo, Wise, I'm very sorry I picked against you. I don't know if you're watching, but I actually think the skill difference is just a little bit too much this game. But like, prove me wrong, man. If you prove me wrong, I'll pick for you the entire rest of the season. All
right. Number 3, Nullagon versus Patience. I think Jaden Smith takes this 1-1.
Yeah. I'm very hesitant to pick Nullagon's team after hearing about all the drama. I think it's a 1-1.
It's probably going to be a 1-1. So we're in agreement there. Number 4, my team versus Habits. I'm going to say 2-0 in my team's favor.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-0 for you guys. I think Habits is just going to get outmatched mid.
Yeah, probably. All right, next up, the Weeb Slayers versus Envi. I think DaywalkeR takes this 1-1. I think this is a 1-1.
I think Envi 2-0.
I don't know. I think Envy's gonna get, if he wins game 1, he's gonna get cocky and just not ban the Invoker.
No, I think Envi. I think people underrate. Envi doesn't like talk much, and like a lot of the like if you don't play with him, he doesn't interact a lot in chat or talk about Dota. But like he has a very very good understanding of the game, and I think he's like rubbing off a lot on his team. And like this team is actually very scary.
I don't know. He lost to my team, 1-1.
Okay, your team also is very good. So like, what's your point?
Okay, moving on. Xccepted versus Subject. Subject 2-0.
Nah, dude.
What?
I can't. Nah, this is a fucking 2-0 for Xccepted.
All right. Math versus no one. Fuck both these names. They're too fucking long.
MathMatronaru versus NoOneImportant. I think this is a 2-0 for no one.
I'm gonna go 1-1. I'm gonna hedge my bets.
Okay.
All
okay,
right.
man, you do you.
Nutty versus Strider. 1-1 again. I have confidence in Nutty and I have confidence in Strider. So.
Fuck. I think this is a 1-1.
I think this is mechanical skill versus like game knowledge. I think Strider's gonna
Yeah.
outmatch them mechanically, but Nuttypizza has the research down. I don't know. Aegon versus Guam.
I think Aegon 2-0.
Probably Aegon 2-0.
I
Moo
don't have
versus
a whole lot.
Snow.
Yeah.
Moo versus Snow. 1-1.
No, I'm saying Snow 2-0.
Did you see his drow plays?
I actually don't care. I think Rice Boy outmatches everybody on Moo team. Even like I think Snow's drafting is way better than Moo's drafting.
It doesn't matter how good their drafting is if they play like that drow game. That was fucking awful. All right, Rubity versus Boog. Forest 2-0.
Yeah, I agree. Forest
Well,
2-0.
hold on. This is actually interesting because this is Forest versus Prohibit. Do you think Forest can overturn Prohibit? Divine 2 versus Prohibit?
Quote unquote. I think the drafting just like disparity is too much between the two.
You don't think just having immortal player knowledge on just the last pick can overcome having a well thought out draft?
Nah, dude. Crazy.
All right. Quasar versus Autoattacks. 1-1. They're both shit tiers.
I say Auto 2-0 just because I don't actually. If Vanilla Acoustic is playing mid again, it's a fucking disaster.
Yeah. By the way, if anybody on that team is watching, your FA is coming. I'm just waiting on them to reply. There's fucking 3 of them, and none of them are replying. So it's all in its way. All right, moving on. Watz versus Redhq. I don't know. I had high hopes for both of these teams coming into the season.
I think Red 2-0. I'm curious to see the drafts from Watts because Frenzy is drafting this week for them.
The fuck?
So I'm curious to see as to how their drafts developed this week because I thought they got outdrafted in both their games against Habits. So I'm curious to see, but I still think the skill difference with Skip in there is too much.
Pretty sure it's a 1-1. All right. Badger versus CC.
Oh man.
Battle of the dumpsters.
How do I can't make myself pick for Badger, but I don't know if CCG is good enough. I think I have to say Badger 2-0, even though every moral fiber of my being doesn't want to.
All right. I think 1-1. I think Badger's gonna manage to impress. All right. Flarey versus Sheep. I think 1-1. Both these teams, I don't like either of them. I think I'm right in 1-1. What do you think, Brightside?
I think this is a 1-1 as well.
All right.
personally.
John the Green versus Scrub Spirit. I got extravagant with the film
Fuck.
effects here.
Dude, is there Oh wow, he split the screen. Holy shit, dude! Hold the fucking telephone.
I'm gonna say John the Green 2-0, unless Scrub Spirit team can get their shit together. Then it'd be a 1-1.
I think it's a 2-0, John, as well. I'm just waiting for. I don't know what Scrub's team is doing, so.
All right. Brightside versus Bye.
I'm gonna go with the bye.
I mean, you'll probably actually lose because I guarantee your team's not gonna scrim a single fucking time.
What? We literally scrimmed on Monday.
Eh.
All right.
All right. We
This
have
is the last time you'll see me.
what? Nah.
Hi. What?
Boy.
What?
We have one last part to cover here. We have an interview with Joel Warlord. Let me get this going here. Many of you know him. He's on Subject's team. I think he's been on Subject's team before. He's done a few things. Let's see here. Okay, hello, Joel Warlord.
Oh,
you
shit.
have played.
I need to pause. There we go.
You've
I
played.
was watching the stream, so I was like, too much sound. Okay.
You've played what?
Yeah, I
4
was-
seasons of Dota of RD12.
3. I was on Rainie / Velvet / Mina's team in 13, and then Redonda's team last year, and now last season, and then now Subject's team. And Subject was also on my team in season 13, which is kind of insane to think of. Like, 2 now immortal players were on the same team at that time.
Okay. Just to preface this, we will have Twitch chat questions for Mr. Joel Warlord here at the end of this.
Oh,
but
baby.
to start out, we're gonna ask some basic questions here. How did you find RD12?
I honestly don't remember. I think I saw one of the posts, like, the post, blah blah blah, like we're about to have signups or whatever. I saw the Reddit post probably one time just before signups, so I think that was what I did. And actually, it's kind of funny now, but my initial thought was, I thought, hey, I should sign up because I used to play Echo League with some friends, and I wanted to play as a 5, and it never worked out because we were always missing people and we didn't have a mid player. So I always had to play mid, which, if you've ever seen that, it's not good.
Yikes.
So I was looking forward to playing RD12 and like learning from good players, so then we could play Echo League and I could like actually play as a 5 and captain and stuff. And now I have, like, even if Echo League existed, I have little interest in it, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I'd probably go back. I'd probably play it if it existed.
By the way, all these clips on stream are from, I think one's from this season, the others are from when you were on Mina's team. What was it, Waifu?
Oh,
Hunters?
look at that. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Look at me go. Yeah, it was
Witch
Waifu Hunters.
Doctor.
I think
Back to the Witch Doctor.
this is a staple hero from you, this Witch Doctor.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. Like, I think we just picked it in a scrim, and at that time, I remember it was really strong, that patch. Like, the patch that the first 2/3 of season 13 were played on, because I think Maledict had a 20-second cooldown at all levels, which was insane. And we kind of we did dual lanes in that team kind of before it was cool. Like, we would have Subject and Yourbad in the off lane, and then me and Kevin, or Reddit was his name, his username. We'd play safe lane, and he usually played troll, so it was just a really good combo with that. Like, because all I had to do was basically get 2 cast bounces, and then they'd pretty much be permabashed from troll. And then the combo of troll damage plus Maledict, which was insane at that time, so it just was really strong.
All right. What's kept you coming back to RD12? Why do you keep playing? Are you actually getting better?
I want to say yes, but my MMR hasn't moved in like 6 months, so I've basically been like 3.7 to 3.8 for 6 months. But I don't really play solo, so who knows? I'd like to think I'm getting better, but honestly, it's just that like truly it's because not that it's like super try hard, super competitive, but like I played hockey every year when I was a kid, so ever since like I finished playing like minor hockey, I never really had another competitive outlet, so this is a good competitive outlet because it's not super try hard, but it's also like you're playing like I guess I would say it's try hard but not serious.
Like
So
if you
that's what I
lose,
like
it's
about it.
okay, but you want
Yeah,
to win.
like if you lose, it's whatever, but if you win, it's great, and like the actual games are, a lot of fun. So,
Which of the three was your favorite season?
right now, definitely season 13. Um, I guess this
that
one
subject
still
team?
has like Mina captain and subject was on our team as well. That was like this waifu hunters team. That was definitely my favorite, just because we actually did win a round of playoffs and stuff. And last year could have been fun, but we disbanded, which was disappointing.
Oh yeah, you were on the Redondo team.
Yeah, I was on the Redondo team and then on Zipper's team, which was fun too. But just like that kind of made last season not as much fun because like team disbanded in week 6, and then I was on a different team, and then we were missing our mid player for playoffs, which kind of sucked. So yeah, season 13 was more fun.
What do you think of subject? We're gonna move on here.
What do I think of subject?
Yeah, your current captain.
He's a very, very good captain in every way except for like the outside the game stuff.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's what
He's
you
like
need a captain for.
in terms of like drafting and like shot calling in game and like just being like unironically PMA, he's great for that. Like probably the perfect like immortal player you could have on your team, like to help other players learn and stuff like that. But he never checks Discord. He never like reads Discord. He probably doesn't know I'm on this right now, so I'll just flame him in secret.
He's too fucking busy asking me to unban Cesario.
I think so, yeah.
He's very busy right now walking his dog, I believe.
I'm sure, yeah.
All right, moving on to our next question. Are you enjoying the rest of your team?
Yeah, it's a good team. Like the first week when we didn't know what was going on with our mid player and everything was kind of stressful, but after that it's been pretty good. Like we missed Sewell in week 3 and we had a stand-in which we ended up winning and he played really well. And then last week Sewell was here and played really well, so if that continues that'll be great. But yeah, like Cesario's a good player, and it's just kind of I think we have a good setup for lanes where like subject always wins his lane, and then most of the time that allows him to play something and make space for Cesario and Sewell, because Sewell tends to play like I guess I shouldn't give away our whole team's playstyle, but anyway, it's pretty obvious. He plays like greedier stuff, so which is perfect for our team setup. Like we have 2 cores that like to play like, sort of traditional 1 and traditional 2 heroes. So subject playing stuff that isn't quite so like farm intensive is really good. And yeah, and our other players are good too. Like Zerotech is really good. We had picks like, because we had such a high MMR average, we had like I think the very last pick in
you didn't get a choice
round.
For your last pick.
We had the absolute last pick in the draft, and he's been really good. Like he's adjusting to playing support because he plays core. And like I can obviously tell he's out of his comfort zone, but we're kind of trying to pick around that, and we're figuring out ways, and like he's learning, and
Are you gonna pick him Chaos Knight 4?
I think so, yeah. Draft strats, but
who's yelling in the Discord?
Who's yelling? Honestly, nobody. The people, I think Cesario's roommates are the ones who yell.
Oh my god, you have a team of DNMs.
We do. Nobody really yells or gets super animated. Like most of the talking is probably me, Cesario, subject in that order, I would say. Or no, sorry, the other order. Subject talks the most, Cesario second, then me. Nobody really screams except for like pretty much every time we're playing. I think I get the impression Cesario's like roommates or whatever are playing like Madden or something, or like watching football or something, because like every now and then you'll just hear them screaming and like it sounds like they're cheering for a touchdown or something like that. So it's kind of fun.
All right, are you gonna make playoffs?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What seed?
It's a very positive.
What are we? We're 4-2. I think that places us anywhere from like 5th to 15th. So let's say 5th.
Okay. Let's see. We only have fucking one Twitch chat question. Brightside, you can go ahead and ask that.
Oh, okay. Mr. Arock asks when you're getting his Arcana.
Probably when they buff Tree, because I think if Tree gets buffed is the only way he's gonna get to 5K. So that's me and him have we have an Arcana wagered on the first one of us to get to 5K. It's truly more of like a thought exercise, but well, at least from my end, maybe not from his, but we made that like we were like I was 3,800, he was 3,900 or something like that, and I figured whatever, this is like a thing that will happen in like 3 years if at all. But he's gone on like a fucking roll on solo queue and he's up to like 4.4K already in a month. So yeah.
Are you sweating?
I am. I'm getting worried. I'm gonna have to buy the Arcane, I think.
That's some fucking Nugget Nick and me shit. Like if you don't know, me and Nugget Nick both calibrated MMR like 1K, and then it was just a race to the next K after that. And I think I was the first to 2K, and then he beat me to 3K, and then that fucker is like 4.5K right now, and I've fallen below 3K. I can't get above it. It took me 12 games to go up 24 MMR.
I'm hoping like getting to 4K has been like the goal for a while, but I keep pushing back the time frame. I'm hoping to get there by like I don't know, end of the year at least.
2020.
I would say yeah, and end of next year. Let's do it for that.
I think that's all we have for you today, at least. We will have Badger will be our next interviewer next week. And I think that's about all for tonight. Joe Willard, do you have any shout-outs you'd like to do?
Rest in peace to Loves.
Love's not Hitagi. Fuck Hitagi.
And rest in peace to Hitagi. Rest in peace to Yak and Redondo.
Redondo might come back next season.
Who else have I played with that's now banned? That's it for now.
Are you saying that you ban people after you've done playing with them?
I'm cursed, honestly. I'm up to now 4 players I've played with that are banned right now. So
see, my captains just never play again.
You like from that, whatever. No, yeah, I don't know.
You're a shady man.
Yeah, got a dark side.
All right, and that is all for this week. We should be back to next week. I believe we're trying for Wednesday, but it might be a different day. But we will be back.